Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode. Episode 57. T on tonight's episode is going to be a movie review of The Cemetery Man. Um, so yeah, a quick note. This should have been obviously done on Thursday because we had an interview lined up, but unfortunately that couldn't go ahead. So we are currently in the process of rearranging it.
Yeah.
So you're getting this instead. But
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I just, is this the weirdest film I've recommended to you?
Um no. I mean I've seen weird films in general.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. But like
no,
out of the ones that I've recommended,
yeah.
I don't know.
Um
I feel around the part where he tries to have his fucking cock uh cut off, I think that's kind of where the film loses its fucking mind. Uh,
yeah.
I love this one, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I thought I had
Um
something to say there, but I didn't. I am my brain is fucked. Uh, it's been it's been a few weeks. Sweden has had. I just need like why I am a bit tired and overworked right now. Sweden had their first school shooting. Oh, we our first school shooting, I guess. Not in my school, but it was in my hometown, so that was a bit weird. I like. So it's been sort of a gloomy. Uh, and like I've been trying to ease the mood at work, but like I don't think my jokes land.
yeah. Uh
Um, yeah,
yeah, I've been obviously I'll go into more detail on next week's podcast.
yeah,
But as you know,
yeah.
I've been on a mental health support worker program, so I've been off off Twitter, as I say, for
Yeah.
those periods, and like
I,
I
yeah. I think I've been
did actually,
for
yeah,
more
I
than
mean,
I've been in a while.
yeah, I
I've been
mean,
more active than in quite a few,
yeah,
and I've I've had fun.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Um, Yes, I don't. So I've made up for it
yeah,
um in the last 48 hours.
yeah.
But yeah,
It feels like every time that I quote Sweet J.K. Rowling, I get a hit. Genuinely so happy that I did the actual literary criticism of that.
yeah, yeah,
And also the today, like, what was that fucker? Uh, I'm in total control of your emotions.
yeah,
What the fuck? Did I seem even angry in that?
yeah,
When you're angry, do you usually go in and like edit in a baby bottle to the fucking profile picture? I was just like, I wasn't even like, I was just quiet there. I wasn't actually laughing like for the most of it because
yeah,
like, you are such a sad person, and I think he knows it. And like that kind of
yeah,
came through at one point because like, yeah.
yeah. I replied.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't like I've been taking a shower and shit.
Yeah,
Yesterday I went on a date and got yelled at for not knowing my star signs. So, I knew she was going to be fucking insane.
yeah,
Like I booked the date partially why? Like the reason that I have so many fucking good like weird anecdotes about my sex life and about like my dating life is because I have never back down when I see a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually once dated a person who I had proven was stalking me.
Yeah. 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 Let me. Mhm. Your sound has gone off. Your sound. No. Um.
That was me being a fucking idiot because I accidentally hit the speaker instead. All of a sudden, you started talking from my computer. Apparently, like these are broken. These are like this is how the other one looks. But I couldn't find my fucking. I can't find anything. I I I know I have a microphone here. It's under a bunch of like shit. So I don't. But yeah.
Yeah.
I've been needing that one. I actually saw this with my this film, Cemetery Man, or as I will be calling it, Dellamorte Dellamore, because I like that title better. But like I've been uh, what is it? I saw it with my boyfriend last weekend as I was recovering from my fucking uh, nearly dying. Apparently, if I had waited for like a few hours, they're not sure if I would have made it if I had waited for another day, which was my intention, really. I would have been dead. Why do I have so many like near-death experiences? Not that I'm complaining. I think it's kind of
Yeah.
but yeah. So that like last week sucked ass.
Yeah. I think an opposite word. I think I've had food poisoning,
Yeah.
but I can't be
Uh,
sure.
it's like
But that's no fun.
It's like it's shorter than a like stomach bug. It's like it doesn't like because when you get sick, like when you have like the puke virus or something, the flu
Hmm.
is it the flu that makes you puke? I don't fucking know. But when you have like that virus that makes you puke, like that can be kind of chill because you puke and it sucks, but like there is some time, there is like breathers, like and where you're feeling kind of okay, and like you feel good right after you puked, and like you have like an hour or two where you can chill. So yeah, you're sick for longer. You're sick for like a week or something. When you have food poisoning, it's 48 hours on the fucking dot. It's been every time that it's happened to me because I am not careful with what I put into my fucking body. I am an idiot. It was like because I'm lying there like fuck. I knew that chicken looked a bit weird, but I was at a restaurant and it seemed like not nice to say, which is weird. I pay
Yeah.
for it. I shouldn't die.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it's 48 hours on the fucking hour, and everything, because the body has realized that it has something in it that it doesn't want there, and it tries any method it can to get it out. So you're sweating, you're puking, I'm not. I do amphetamines and I barely eat. I vomit, I don't shit. But like you
Yeah.
are, I was living on my fucking on the floor in my fucking bathroom for 48 hours.
Nice.
Like calling like hospitals, like please, dear God, say there's something that I can do. Like, yeah, if you drink small amounts of saline water, like sodium in water. Like, yeah, I could do that, but like the second that I drink it, the second that I swallow it, I'm going to puke it back up.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing that is good about it, because like you drink water because you don't want to fucking dehydrate and die.
Yeah.
But like you puke it up right away, so it's like you're kind of dehydrated as well, so that sucks. But what's good about it is, since you can't eat and you only drink water, like most of the vomit is clear.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. And then I rose from that, and on Friday I had such a bad toothache that I had to gargle constantly with like Listerine and stuff, because like the second that I didn't have something like making it cold and wet in my mouth, it felt like someone was stabbing me in the fucking mouth. And I was at work during this, so like I ran to. How the fuck my students managed that day, I don't know. And then I go home and it gets worse. So now I have to have ice in my mouth at all times, and the second that ice is melted, I need to change it out, because if I miss it, if it takes even a second, it gets so painful I can barely fucking move. And that's about the time when I realized that, yeah, I don't care if I don't like dentists, because I find it weird when somebody wants to dig around in my mouth and doesn't give me a safe word.
Yeah.
They should pay me for that shit. But like, also it's expensive as shit, because for some reason, yeah, we have free healthcare here in Sweden, but apparently teeth aren't a part of my health. And like, I do amphetamine, so my teeth are probably shit, I've always thought. So like, yeah, I don't want to go to the dentist. But finally I book an emergency like in the morning, the earliest day and the earliest hour. And like I go there and they basically tell me that I was dying.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Just what you want to hear.
yeah, because I had a like a cavity in my tooth. Otherwise, my teeth looked beautiful, by the way. They made sure to say that. So it was like, are you coming on to me? But like, aside from this one tooth, and it's not like it's in the back or anything, it's right in the fucking middle of the jaw.
Ah.
So I don't know how I missed that. But now I know why it's felt a bit like half, because apparently it was. I had a cavity that went straight down to my jaw, and then it had gotten infected. And essentially, I was at the point where I was getting blood poisoning.
Ah. Yeah. That's not going to help. Yeah.
So that sucked.
Yes.
And that happens, and then I go and sleep at my boyfriend's place, because as I said to you, I am not up for recording tonight. And then
Yeah.
I just because that's what I realized, like I cannot for the fucking life of me. I'm high as shit. Like on fucking not anesthesia, but painkillers.
Yeah.
And I do not function well under opioids. And I am just fucking tired. So we watched The Cemetery Man, once I finally woke up. And then we watched Our Flag Means Death, which I hadn't seen actually. And now we've seen one season of that, which is really good. Because I'm like, a part of me being a bad ally to the gay community is that I don't really watch their shows. But yeah, it was great. So that made the end of the week kind of not suck as much, but like, yeah, nearly dying wasn't fun. And then I get like, I had missed the whole school shooting for a week because I'd been out cold. And then I get to like work on Monday, and everyone is like, have you heard? Like, didn't you used to live there? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? In your hometown, like the school shooting, like we had a school shooting, and then it had been like a week. I hadn't heard from anyone. I know people who work at that fucking school.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
like, it's been a weird couple of weeks.
Yeah. 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 Whenever I hear about a shooting, regardless if it was a school shooting or not, I'm numb to it. Like I'm not even shocked
Yeah,
that it
yeah.
happens.
I'm that way when it's not here. Like we don't.
Yeah.
We've never had one. We had one guy who went into a school with a Darth Vader like mask and a not a helmet, but just like the face mask and
Right.
a katana once.
Oh,
And he was actually a subscriber to my YouTube channel.
okay.
Because I had uploaded a video that had like a few 100,000 views. It's deleted now because Disney took it down. That was the World Trade Center
Oh
attack.
yeah, yeah.
Set to the from airplane, and he followed me for that one. I found out after he'd done it. Like I didn't know the guy, but it was like weird serendipitous thing, and I wanted to put that on like my profile, but it felt a bit weird.
Yeah.
But this guy actually went with a like rifle. And it was someone who had lived there, gone there, who had gone there like previously and came back. And apparently that's the thing that we do here in Sweden. We tough it out while we're there, and then like 10 years later, we go fucking insane and go back to our school and shoot it up. Which is like, you're out of there. You don't have to go back. What are you going back to? Kill the bully's children?
Yeah.
So it's been a weird,
Yeah.
because now we have to like learn what do we do when that happens, and I got one uncomfortable laughter when I said use the children as shields.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was one of my colleagues who starts fucking guffawing at it, and then just goes silent and like looks at me like fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just need to go get my drink.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then jump straight into
Yeah.
the review, maybe. I've
Yeah.
spent it now for an hour.
Yeah, we will cover that topic on next week because hopefully, and along with other stuff. But yeah, we'll get into the review.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh! And I'm also apparently 1,000 years old. Fuck me.
So yeah. If you have never heard of this film, bearing in mind it's been out since 1994. The film goes by Cemetery Man, or if you know this film from Italy, it's Dellamorte Dellamore. So this is a unique blend of horror, comedy, and romance, directed by Michelle Sclavi. The film is based on Tiziano Sclavi's novel and stars Rupert Everett in the lead role as Francesco Dellamorte, the caretaker of, lo and behold, a cemetery.
Oh.
You know, that's already a good trope for a horror movie, isn't it? Oh look, someone looks like a cemetery where the dead frequently rise from their graves. Yeah, well, that would happen. The movie is an Italian gem that has garnered a cult following for its surreal narrative and dark humor. And oh boy, does it have a dark humor! It was kind of
What you think? You think I got raped, but then he fucked me again to make
Yeah.
up for it? It's
Yeah,
a dark joke,
yeah,
and then she falls in love with him and then marries him.
yeah. A bit problematic, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have my reading of that one actually. Why that is there? I have a theory,
yeah,
but we'll get to that later.
yeah. So the main characters are Francesco Dellamorte, Rupert Everett, Naki, portrayed by Francois Haji Lazario, She the Widow by Anna Fauci, Marshall Straniero, portrayed by Clive Rousset, Franco, portrayed by Anton Alexander. So yeah, they're the main characters in the film.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I'm not gonna go through the roles. Well, actually, I'll read a part of it. So for Rupert Everett's character,
Francesco
the
Dellamorte.
the protagonist and cemetery caretaker in the small town Italian town of Buffalora, Dellamorte is a cynical and detached character who deals with the undead rising from their graves. He is haunted by existential questions and a troubled love life. No fucking wonder. He works with, he works with the dead, making his journey both
Really?
tragic and surreal.
He also has this weird thing where he keeps seeing the same face on every woman.
I'm not surprised. Probably in Nightmare.
I like the when you say that like the Dead Arise, like that's from the off, like from the very first scene, and he is like when the film starts, he's already apathetic about it.
Mhm.
I love the opening scene when his friend is calling him, and they're just on the line, and he's just hold on for a bit, and then shoots a
Yeah.
fucking zombie in the head.
Yeah. Nagi, Dellamorte's loyal and quirky assistant. Nagi is childlike and eccentric. Yeah, a good mix is just all you need
Yeah.
in a horror movie. Providing comic relief in the film, which indeed he does. Despite his odd behaviour, he has a kind heart and forms a touching bond with a zombie bride. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out well.
For anyone.
No. The widow, portrayed by Anna Fauci, a beautiful widow who visits the cemetery and becomes the object of Dellamorte's obsession. She plays multiple roles throughout the film, each embodying different aspects of love and desire. Her ethereal presence adds to the film's surreal and haunting atmosphere. Which, yes.
Oh yeah, this is just visually.
Yeah.
Every single shot in this film is a fucking artwork.
Yeah,
It's like this film fucks hard. Like it has no reason to do some of the fucking camera angles that it does, like when it shows the reflection in the pool of water, and like they could have done that in a million different ways, but they went with the like artist's fucking most beautiful thing ever, and then the comedy is just a silly fucking scary movie thing. This film is fucking absurd. I love it.
It really is. Then we have Marshal Straniero, portrayed by Clive Rousseau, the local police marshal who is suspicious of Dellamorte and his activities in the cemetery. He represents the law and order in Buffalora and often complicates Dellamorte's attempts to deal with the undead. Yeah, that's all you need. Is an interfering cop. Franco, portrayed by Anton Alexander. Dellamorte's friend and a local politician. He is one of the few people who believes in Dellamorte's strange experiences with the undead. His character adds to the social and political commentary within the film. So those are obviously the characters and their role. The plot overview, I think I pretty much already said that on the outset, so we'll skip that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen by now, if you've watched the film I'd say within the first 5, maybe 10 minutes, you will pretty much know the basics of the plot.
Yeah. It's very efficient.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah. It and like there isn't that much plot to begin with. It's like a lot of the film feels like they had ideas for different like comedy skits that they wanted to do and kind of like loosely tie them together. And like plots begin and stop and start like they want to. But it all comes together beautifully by the end, I think. Like that ending is might be on my top 5 endings of all time list.
Yeah, it's the same when it's the same if you watched the first film with what is it? It's got a character called Ash in it. It's not From the Dead or something along those lines.
From Beyond. It had what characters in it?
Ash. He has
Evil Dead. Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's like with the first one. Like the same in that. Like within the first 5, maybe 10 minutes, because it's so easy. It's like that.
It's Evil Dead is. We're doing those ones one day. But like Evil Dead is very interesting because it's the only franchise I can think of where I love every bit of it. Like I love every film. I love the TV show. I love the comics. I love the fucking video games. Like I consider that to be like the perfect. The only one that I'm not as hot on, and this is fucking heresy to some people, I'm not a giant fan of Army of Darkness. Like the medieval comedy one. I like Evil Dead 2 better.
Yeah, that was the Army of Darkness were the weakest one out of
Yeah, it's not being horror, but like Sam Raimi is a fucking beast. Anyway. Yeah, and like this kind of reminds me a bit of Evil Dead in the sense that it is like, especially Evil Dead 2 and all like the TV show and stuff. Because the first Evil Dead is just a really mean-spirited dark comedy / horror film. The second one is fucking Looney Tunes with blood. And this one kind of has moments where like the film is shot like an art house film, but it has the humor of like depraved sex comedy from the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's fucking insane. And it's like that, and like the music that they set to it is also like fucking bizarre. The fact that they bury a kid who gets run over on a motorcycle with his motorcycle so that his zombie can do a fucking like jump out of his grave with a motorcycle. That's the type of film that this is. But it's shot like it's a fucking art house film.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have like it doesn't have the that's I love that because it doesn't feel like it's a comedy.
No, it
Like
doesn't.
everything is done completely straight. But it's so fucking stupid. And then you kind of realize that, it's a comedy. And at the end, it's absolutely impossible to not see it as just purely comedic.
Exactly.
Because it goes so like there's this point where he gets a serum from his doctor, and he pulls out like a fucking giant comedy needle.
Yeah. That was funny.
I'm so angry, I accidentally bought a fucking diet soda. I
So
hate that. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. So as you can imagine, right, you're watching the film, you're hunkered down, you're about 10 minutes in, if that, and you get to the plot device when Dellamorte falls in love with, you guessed it, a beautiful widow.
Yeah.
Which okay, has that the plot device been used before? Yes, it has.
Not like this.
But not like this. Yeah, exactly.
Because they keep beating him over this one as well.
Yeah.
When he realizes that he had buried her wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, he falls in love with a beautiful widow, played by Anna Fauci,
yeah.
who visits the cemetery. His obsession with her leads to a series of tragic and bizarre events, blurring the lines between reality and fantasy.
Yeah.
As Dellamorte grapples with his existential crisis, the film delves into themes of love, death, and the meaning of life. In a more, may I add, meaningful way than the piece of shit that we reviewed a few weeks ago at this point.
Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what wait, by the way, what did I say there? If they had made this a dark comedy, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Now
you
they
did.
made this one a dark comedy and it fucking works.
Yeah.
Uh,
The cinematography and direction is second to none.
Yeah.
Michelle Sclavi's direction is a highlight of the film, combining gothic horror elements with a surrealist touch.
No one does it like the Italians.
No,
Hmm.
the cinematography by Mauro Marchetti enhances the eerie atmosphere with striking visuals and inventive camera work. The camera work in this is, if you'd have told me, like, I don't know what the budget was to make this film, so I'm just gonna like give a hypothetical. Let's say they had €100,000 budget for this. If you'd have told me that, looking at the cinematography and the camera work, and I didn't know the background, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. But honestly, if you've got if you've got a spare 3 hours, or whatever, or you want to watch
Yeah.
something, watch this film.
The budget was $4 million. That's not a lot. That
No,
is not a lot.
No, especially when, especially in 1994.
Yeah, Brain Dead came out around then as well, and that one had $3 million. So like Return of the Living Dead 3 had $2 million. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's not a lot.
No.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Is this idea that this film is based on the comic like Dylan Dog, which it just isn't, by the way?
Yeah.
And it's weird that is.
Yeah. So the dream-like sequences and macabre imagery create a sense of unease and wonder, perfectly complementing the bizarre storyline, which it does.
Yeah.
And the cinematography in this is just sublime. Along with the storyline,
It is.
the
It is.
complete,
This is one of the most beautifully shot films I've ever fucking seen in my
yeah.
life.
Rupert Everett's portrayal of Francesco Dellamorte is both charismatic and melancholic. His performance captures the character's cynicism and detachment. He is very much detached. As well as Haji Lazario's Naki provides comic relief with his childlike innocence, which one would think that if you had someone with a childlike innocence, that would probably piss you off. But you don't feel that way in this film.
No, they feel like friends.
Yeah, like,
And like he doesn't feel like his caretaker either, really.
no. He's just his goofy sidekick.
Yeah, Nyagi's best boy.
Yeah. Anna Felchi's dual role as the widow and other love interests adds to the film's surreal quality. Her presence is both ethereal and haunting, serving as a catalyst for Dellamorte's emotional turmoil. The supporting cast include Clive Rousset. I've gone through that. So let's go to the themes and interpretation. Cemetery Man, or Dellamorte Dellamore, explores existential themes through its offbeat narrative. The film delves into the nature of love and death, questioning the meaning of existence in a world where the dead refuse to stay buried. Dellamorte's internal struggle reflects a broader philosophical inquiry as he confronts his fears, desires, and the inevitable of death. The film was titled Dellamorte Dellamore, translated to Of Death of Love, encapsulating the central themes of the story. Sclavi's direction and Sclavi's source material blend horror and comedy to create a thought-provoking meditation on life's absurdity and the search for meaning. Basically, all I have to say is this is visually stunning, and you need to have this in your list. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, you really do. It's
So,
it's
yeah.
what I we also, because his name is Francesco Dellamorte, which he finds to be a bit weird of a name. He's been thinking of changing it. Angelo Dellamorte might work better, which is such a funny fucking joke that I nearly, like, every time I watch this film, I forget that that joke is in it, and I fucking nearly fall down laughing from it, because it's like It's the perfect joke. We also find out that his mother's maiden name was Dellamore, so they mentioned it quickly. He falls in love with 3 women in this film, and I'm going to do like my weird little psychosexual analysis of this film now. He falls in love with 3 different women in this film. They are 3 separate entities, but they are all played by the same actress.
Yes.
All of them die. All of them desperately fall in love with him.
Yeah.
All of them die because of him. One of them he knowingly murders. Another one. Oh wait, I don't remember. Does the third one die? Or does she just leave with the new mayor? I don't
think
remember if she
so.
kills her.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them is the widow, who he ends up banging on the fucking grave of her late husband on the night that he returns from the dead so that he kills her. Also, he thinks, because then he apparently bury her, she comes back to life, he shoots her in the fucking head so that she dies. Then she comes back to life, which means that she can't have been dead the first time. So he buried her fucking alive. The second one is the mayor's assistant, because the mayor dies, and then there comes a new mayor, and his assistant, I think it is also played by the same actress. They fall madly in love, but she is afraid of cocks. She has a phobia of dick. So, and there's a rumor in town that Dellamorte is impotent, which he isn't. He spread the rumor himself because he wanted people to leave him the fuck alone. Yeah, this is that type of film. But he isn't impotent. He fucks like a maniac. He is so great at fucking. The film goes through to great pains to show that he's so good at fucking, even having him sterilized doesn't help. Castrated. Chemically castrated. He gets chemically castrated, and then he still manages to fuck. He is such a stud. But anyway, so that's why he gets chemically castrated, by the way, because she's afraid of cocks and he wants to be impotent for her. So he goes to a doctor and says, cut my dick off. And the doctor says, but you don't have a dick. I can't cut it off. And then he pulls down his pants and show him his probably massive and like definitely erect cock. The doctor tries to cut it off, can't really do it because like genuinely, yeah, they have a fucking like fucking biter to do it with. But he gets injected instead with a serum that doesn't work. And the second that he does it, like one scene later, the mayor's assistant comes to him, tell him she was raped by the mayor. Trigger warning, by the way. I think she was raped by the mayor, and it was awful. But then he fucked her nicely once after to make up for it, and now they're getting married. And because he cured her fear of dick. And now they can't be together, but they can still be friends. He got friend zoned. He got friend zoned by the person who left him for her rapist. That's the type of film that this is. It's a bit uncomfortable. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. When it happens, it is intensely fucking uncomfortable. But it's also supposed to be. Like it's supposed to be uncomfortable. You're not supposed to like that. And then there's the third woman who there are 2 ladies who get a ride with him back to their place. And then he's invited aside. One of them is played once again by the same actress, not playing the same character, who once again seems to fall madly in love with her. with him. They fuck. He doesn't think it'll work because he has just taken the like serum.
Yeah.
Because like everything happens right after the other. Like this film is fucking um in the scene it's shot like it's a slow movie, but when you look at like plot progression of this film, it's one of the most fucking unhinged manic films ever. But it's like because the film doesn't bring any attention to the fact that it's a comedy, it you kind of forget that it's manic. It's like the film treats everything like it's normal. Which is why like me describing this will not feel like watching the film, because when you watch the film you kind of like, yeah, you're taken aback by the weirdest of the stuff, but like it fits together. It works. It's a cohesive work, and it's great, and it is beautiful, and it is poignant. It's also really fucking silly. But yeah, so he goes up to her, he fucks her, and then she finds out she's a fucking whore. God damn it, she's a fucking whore. So he does the only thing that he can do at the moment, and he burns her the fuck alive. Willingly, he puts an electrical radiator in the bed and puts the duvet over it. And then she burns to death. And like Francesco Dellamorte is an incel. Like that's the point. We see everything from his point of view. Like every scene in the film is from the point of view of Francesco Dellamorte. He's fucking insane. Like we know that, regardless of what's real or what's fake, like what's the dream. Like, yeah, I do believe that the zombies come back to life. Yeah, I do believe that that comes back to life in this film. I don't think that it's all a hallucination. But fact of the matter is that regardless of whether or not it's a hallucination or not, Francesco Dellamorte is a fucking madman. Because at one point, death comes to him, tells him to stop shooting the dead because that's his job, and start shooting the living instead. So he takes a phone book and just goes out discriminately fucking murdering people. Like, yeah, he's our protagonist. He isn't a hero. So that's my take on it. Basically, I don't believe that these women looked the same. I don't believe that this happened the way that he sees it. I believe that he's sexually fucking damaged and he is extremely misogynistic. And I do think that that's the intent as well. Like because it's all like a weird incel fantasy, isn't it? Like, oh, I'm a nice guy who can't fuck, but then my bitch ass friend Stacy got raped and she fell in love with him because he had such a massive cock. Like that's on incel Reddit.
Yeah.
So that's so like in this sense, I do believe this is absolutely fucking delusional. Yes. There's also this fucking wonderful, flawlessly acted, perfectly done sequence where he shoots every doctor who comes into a room.
Yeah.
And it always has like first a nun comes into a room, yells at him because he can't smoke in there. He's in a hospital, so he shoots her in the fucking head. And then when and then she's like laying on the floor, like face down, and then another comes in, like, what happened to her? And his response is, she's praying. And the doctor just steps right in and he shoots him. And then another person comes in. Because of course, why not do a fucking clown car routine here? And she asks like, what happened? And he says, bad blood between them. They were dueling it out. And then he shoots that person as well. The cop who is constantly coming by the cemetery, like for some reason refuses to believe, even though it's clearly Francesco Dellamorte who does the killings. Like they see his car, they do like, but he constantly finds a reason for it not to be him. He refuses to suspect this guy to the point where they are at the hospital, they have this shootout, the cop comes there, he says to Dellamorte, there's a madman on floor 4. Good, you have a gun, you're armed, you can defend yourself. And then he runs away while Dellamorte is screaming, "I fucking did it!"
Yeah.
Like, it's there are moments of this where it just goes batshit fucking insane. There's also this weird thing where Dellamorte likes rain and he hates sun. They don't make a big deal about it, but there's a kind of cute moment where he goes out and complains about the bad weather, and it's just like the most beautiful day in the entire film. And also Nyagi likes leaves and spaghetti. Like, but like the film is poignant. It's like I'm going to spoil the ending now because they are in Buffalora, yeah, and we never get to see outside the town.
Nope.
And at one point, they even theorized that it's there is nothing. There is no other way. There is no out there. And then by the end, Dellamorte and Nyagi gets into the car and they drive off. And then they reach nothing. Because this is all there is. Everything is completely pointless. Life is inherently meaningless, and death even more so. And then Dellamorte starts saying "nya," which Nyagi only speaks in that word, "nya." And then Nyagi asks, "Would you please drive me home?" And then the film just ends.
Mm.
And it's the most nihilistic fucking end of a film I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is a film that is have you seen Beneath the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
It's the second one in the old series. So in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, we follow Charlton Heston, but we also follow a new astronaut who comes to the planet of the apes. It starts right where the first one leaves off. We're at the Statue of Liberty. You bastards, you blew it up. Fuck, I love Planet of the Apes. Genuinely a fucking fantastic film. But then they like go into the tunnels and they find these people who worship a nuke. And at the end of the film, in the span of 30 seconds, we get to see Charlton Heston and the new heroes as well. We get to see their brains blown out.
Yep.
And then the nuke is activated, and then the world ends.
Mhm.
I remember when I watched that because I saw that as a kid. Like the ending to the first film, they never depressed me as a kid. The ending to this one gave me fucking nightmares because it's just so meaningless. And then there's this voice that comes on and tells us how nothing here will have mattered, like literally. And that's kind of what I get from this ending as well. Like, yeah, this is just chaos. It's just chaos. We live, we die, and then that's it. And I think that's kind of beautiful. Like, all of this, yeah, it was meaningless. And now we have to drive back. And maybe Dellamorte can't speak now. Nyagi can apparently speak. Could he always speak? Did he just decide not to? Or was that also just part of, like, Dellamorte's weird fucking world? Is death actually coming to Dellamorte telling him to kill the living? Or is that a hallucination?
Yeah.
Like, there are parts in this film that are clearly not real. There are parts in it, but like trying to figure that out, that's pointless. And I think that's like, and it doesn't matter if it's Buffalo or if it's Stockholm or if it's London or if it's wherever the fuck. It doesn't matter if it's the entire world. There is no out there. There is no elsewhere. There is just here. There is just now, and then it's gone.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's what I get from it,
Yeah.
which I don't find depressing at all.
No, I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be a mixture of things. He could be hallucinating,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it could be real. But because he is fucking nuts, combined with the hallucinations, I think he will believe anything. He will believe anything, and so I can
Yeah.
totally see him killing everyone. So it's possible. Plus the fact you are on a
Oh yeah, he's clearly murdering people.
yeah,
Like
and
he's a fucking nut job.
yeah,
I just wonder if like death actually comes to him and like yells at him. I like to think it does. And like also he reads the phone book.
yeah,
Like before that as well. It's his favorite piece of literature, the phone book. He gets mad when Yagi throws a phone book on a fire, an old phone book. He's a weird dude.
mm,
And
yeah,
he's like an obsessive dude, and he's like not an especially good person, like even before he starts murdering
no,
people indiscriminately. So like all the weird. I don't believe that the film is sexist. I don't believe that the film is misogynistic.
no,
Quite the opposite, in fact. I believe that it's criticizing misogyny, and I believe that it's because like the second a love interest is introduced, they put it in a fucking fridge.
yeah, yeah,
Fridging the woman. The old trope
yeah,
that's true, by the way. The term fridging originates like to fridge a character and stuff. That's because like of the common trope in horror film and in horror in general, and in superhero comics as well for some weird reason, to stuff a woman into a fridge.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what this film goes for. And
Yeah,
like it nearly it almost goes to the point where it starts to view life and death as interchangeable.
yeah,
Like it doesn't matter if you're alive or dead. It doesn't matter if you like it's all the same. And that's kind of an interesting take. I don't know. I don't like it.
yeah, it is. I mean,
Um
I've seen that. I've seen that fridging trope in what was it called? The Fifth Element.
my basement.
Yeah,
Sorry. I don't stuff women into fridges in my basement. I don't have a basement.
yeah.
I do it in the backyard.
Yeah, that trope happens in the Fifth Element. Um,
Oh yeah.
um,
Great
yeah,
fucking film though.
so yeah, it was. Yeah,
Multipass.
yeah, multipass,
Oh no.
chicken, um,
The Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich saves the world by fucking
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
I want to save the world by fucking Mila Jovovich.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he's fucked up. He's fucked in the head. He falls instantly in love with the widow. Um,
Yeah, and she
the
falls instantly in love with him.
yeah, and then it's
This is this weird running joke where everyone thinks he's an engineer for some reason.
okay.
Yeah.
Engineer, I don't think.
No, he's not. He says that to them
Yeah.
as well. I'm not an engineer. But they keep calling him engineer. It's like the
Yeah.
old lady who comes by the cemetery all the time and then it's dead. And
Yeah.
he's sad because she was the best customer, but every time we see them talk, he's just annoyed as shit. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who have watched this film when it came out, or you haven't watched it and you want to watch it, then I would recommend this film.
It's on Tubi in the US. I know that, and
Yeah,
get a VPN.
yeah. I'm sure you can purchase it
Yeah,
online.
this was a bit of a like deep cut to find for me. I don't know why. It was like
Yeah,
I couldn't buy it anywhere.
yeah.
Because I was thinking of buying it. I didn't have it. I thought I had it.
Yeah.
It might be
I will
still be packed
definitely.
with some other stuff.
Yeah. I will definitely be adding this to my collection,
No, no.
for sure. Um,
It's
do be aware it does deal with certain themes. So if you are not
yeah.
comfortable with that, then either skip that or skip this film entirely. If you're
I feel
not
like if I
okay
recommend a
with it.
film, just skip it if you have like weird
Yeah,
triggers. Like
yeah.
I genuinely have I. Cecil B. Demented is the least triggering
Yeah,
film that I've, and that one does deal with some like heavy shit as well.
yeah.
Um,
Although weirdly, this might just be me, but weirdly, if you watch it in a different language, it might make it easier because it'll just make you laugh even more.
yeah, and also like that's just that
Yeah,
film is just silly and stupid
yeah,
and fun.
um,
I saw I've my boyfriend hadn't seen I Saw the TV Glow, and we watched it. And he's one of these weird people who find the ending hopeful to that one. I don't know. It's harrowing. That film is fucking masterpiece.
yeah. It really is. Um, yeah. Interesting. That's his takeaway. So
Yeah, he sees it
you
like,
know,
yeah, but he realizes it finally, then blah 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 blah, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
yeah,
I've realized that since because of the type of show the Pink Opaque should be, I've realized that it would be really weird to end an entire show with the lead characters being buried alive. Which means that there must be a season 6. So that's how I get through the fact and make the ending to I Saw the TV Glow a happy ending, and that he does come out of the fake world, because um, otherwise that film makes me feel like shit.
yeah,
That's the most depressive fucking film I've ever seen in my entire life. I love Jane Schoenberg. You should watch her first film. Like we're all going to the World Fair at some point.
yeah, yeah. I will do for definitely, for definite.
It's
Um,
like both of her films are like changed my fucking brain chemistry.
yeah, yeah. I'll have that on my list. Um, so yeah, if you want a good old 90s film, early 90s film, there's deals in the macabre,
Yeah.
a bit comedic, a bit fucking stupid,
Yeah.
nuts, with a caretaker who completely goes off the rails, killing everyone
Yeah.
the in sight. Um,
And like I can't promise that you like it,
yeah,
but I can promise you've never seen anything like it.
no. I
Um
mean,
it's like this film called Detention. That it's the same. Like I I've recommended that to so many people. Um, Detention from 2010 or 11. It's with Josh Hutcherson from the Hunger Games. But like that is the weirdest film I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to come right out and say I have never seen a film that is weirder than that film. I've never seen anything like it. Uh, but it's the only film that I know where I have no idea how people are going to react to it. Like, there is no, like, usually I can sense like this is a film for that person, this is a film for that person, because they've liked these films earlier and like stuff like that. There is no pattern to liking the tension. It seems like the film either gets you to go along with it completely, or you will instantly reject it and you will not be able to get on board with it. And there is no pattern to what you're saying in movies. There's nothing. It's just impossible to determine whether you like it or not. But you will never have seen anything like it. And it's kind of the same
Exactly.
thing with the Cemetery Man. There is
Yeah.
nothing. There is nothing that is exactly like this.
No.
Uh,
The closest that I can think of, the closest comparison to this is probably the very first Evil Dead.
um,
That's probably the closest.
Brain Dead is kind of
Closest thing to it for me.
from, if you've seen, have you seen Brain Dead? Like Peter
Mm,
Jackson's early splatter film.
no.
Because he did Bad Taste, which was like made for a homeless person would spit on that budget. That's a quote from the fucking box that I own, by the way. Made from a budget that a homeless person would spit on. What fucking critic put that on the box? Fucking hero. That's the most offensive shit ever. But like that film is about aliens coming down to Earth and like making fast food out of people. Literally making fast food. They work for a intergalactic fast food chain. It's really funny. It's really silly. It's really bloody. But then he also made a film that is called Brain Dead, or Dead Alive in America, but it's like New Zealand and it's called Brain Dead. I don't know why America keeps doing that. I don't know. This
The-
one with UK did it with a film as well, but like just change. Why change the title? Why localize the title when it doesn't make sense to do so? Anyway, Brain Dead is about this guy who has zombies at his home, and it also has this like weird everyday thing because his mother dies, she becomes a zombie, he keeps at her home, and it becomes more and more and more zombies, and then he just like takes care of them, and then two of the zombies are starting to fuck, and they have a baby, and it just has a fucking hilarious scene in the park with that baby where he just beats the shit out of it, and it's like that's the closest I can get to with it because it's like the same sort of not domestic horror really, but in the mundanity of horror. Like he has to take care of these dead people who are rotting at his house, and then like
okay.
everyone will literally like then takes like fucking mower to a house full of zombies, and it's glorious. But like that's sort of in the same era area as this. Probably closest I can think of. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can recommend
Yeah.
it.
So
But like localized titles are fucking stupid.
yeah.
There's a French film called Haute Tension, or High Tension, which is called in America. But for some reason, the UK switched the title to Switchblade Romance,
Yeah.
which is a better title. I mean, Switchblade Romance is a fucking wonderful title. High Tension kind of fucking sucks. But
Yeah.
like, I don't get why. Also,
Yeah.
Sweden did
That
Switchblade Romance as well.
yeah. That happens a lot, and it drives me insane because
Yeah.
but that's the film industry for you.
Yeah. Sweden had this
Um,
really weird tendency to do really shit titles, like um, Vacation, the film with Chevy Chase, A Pair for a Father. That's the
yep.
Swedish title. As in the fruit, pear.
Mm.
What? Why? What does it mean? And then it's like one title that just it's a short title in the English. I don't remember what it is. It's a film with Sylvester Stallone, and the fucking title in Swedish is "Stop, or my mom will shoot you."
In
Which it isn't.
America,
Which it isn't in America.
no. In America, it was "Stop, or my mum will shoot," and it was the same title in the UK.
Oh,
as
that
well.
is the title. Yeah, then there's another film that I'm thinking about. That was just an example of a shit
Yeah.
title, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder
but I'm sure they probably have translated the
yeah.
title to another country.
Every
sure they
single
have.
one of Mel Brooks' films are called "It's Springtime for" in Sweden. And then the subject, like it's springtime for Frankenstein, it's springtime for Hitler, and it's from the because it's springtime for Hitler is what they call the show in the producers. Like that's the title of the show, and in Swedish because that was his first, and in Swedish he got that got translated to like the title was it's springtime for Hitler, but then but in Swedish then det våras för Hitler. You got some nice little Swedish there. But then it kind of like made those into a film, like into a show, like series, a franchise. They have nothing to do with each other. It's not like so every single one of Mel Brooks films up to Dracula Dead but Loving It is called It's Springtime for X. And the Goldie Hawn films are always called The Girl Who. Each and every one.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome to
done.
Sweden. We're a country of fucking insane people. We live in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking weird.
We've stopped translating. We've stopped localizing titles now. But like, it's springtime for is really good though because like that has become a saying in Sweden. Like if you do something silly, like even unintentionally silly, like no, this isn't that. It's springtime for that. Like that's become a saying because of it. Which is kind of like weird colloquialism. I'm going to shoot myself. Colloquialism. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't speak.
Yeah.
Why am I attempting to say words when I can barely fucking mumble?
Yeah. So
Yeah, that'll be it, right?
yeah. So that was the Cemetery Man or Dellamorte Dellamore. Add it to your list.
Yeah.
Again, you know, if you don't like it, fair enough. If you do, okay.
If you don't like it, I will come to your home and skin you alive.
Yeah. Or you know, just throw yourself down the well.
Yeah.
You know.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Yeah. So yeah, that will be it.
Okay.
Because I've got because I want to get some sleep, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Max does too. So we will be back. Yeah.
I
So
will not be sleeping tonight.
yeah. So we will be back Thursday
Yeah.
next week. We will obviously be going back to the talk covering what shit has happened.
Yeah.
And then the week after, on like a book review or another film review.
Yeah.
And yeah, so apologies for not getting this out, but with Max having food poisoning, it wasn't going to happen, and I wasn't going to
Yeah, no.
I wasn't going to have her, sit through a fucking hour and a half podcast where she could barely speak.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
No. So
Imagine if I can never be on a podcast if I am not able to speak. That would be harrowing for me. I can barely listen to a podcast because I want to interject all the time. Imagine how it would feel like if I was there.
yeah. So enjoy what is left of the weekend. Stay safe. And if you do decide to do any narcotics, do it
I do.
safely.
Always do it as safely as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go dance the Silence of the Lamb dance now to Goodbye Horses. That film has been ruined by horror films.
Yeah. So yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Right, let me stop recording because